Hello everybody, welcome to our CakeFu Masters series. Today we have a really awesome guest today. I am Amelia Carvine, I'm your host for the day, and I wanted to welcome all of you guys here that are returning CakeFu watchers, viewers I guess, and those that are new, welcome also. We're really excited to have you guys here. It should be a really great training today for anybody who wants to get into competing in cake decorating, or someone who wants to improve their skills and their chances at possibly winning in a cake decorating competition, and just to improve your skills overall. I mean, there's some really great stuff in here. So I want to welcome Vivian with us today. She is extremely talented and a very good competitor. Some people just have it when it comes to the cake decorating and knowing exactly what the judges want to see and that kind of thing. And Vivian has that. So welcome, Vivian.
Good morning, everyone. So, how's everyone doing? Hope everything's going well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming. This was kind of a last-minute thing. Vivian sent me this video, and I said, "Oh, hey, let's do a training on this. This would be really cool." So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoy what you guys are going to see today and what Vivian has to share. Okay, so Vivian, let's talk about you a little bit before we get into this video. I want to know, or we all want to know, you and about you, how you started, where you came from, that kind of thing before. We've had you on before, but just to recap and to let people know what has happened with you since we last had you on.
Okay, so I started baking since I was young, like probably age of 6. And I've always loved baking. It wasn't until high school that I got into it even more, where I baked for all my friends' birthdays, and then that's when I won a scholarship to go to college. And my first time going to Oklahoma was when my chef asked me to come see this amazing cake show, and I was just at everything there, and I was like, okay, I want to come back and do this. And ever since then, I've been just in love with just cake decorating, just seeing how you can make everything into sugar. And let's see, since then, I've only competed again this previous year at the OSAs, and the cake that we're about to show you is what I entered in.
That was this year's cake, then?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you have competed before, and last year you got grand. Was it last year?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. And you guys, anybody that knows about Tulsa knows that this is a major accomplishment. This is huge. And so anybody that doesn't know about Tulsa, the Oklahoma State Sugar Art Show, just know that this is one of the most prestigious competitions in the world. And so it's a big deal. It's a really big deal. And so to have, to Vivian, to have you win grand last year and then to place in the top 10 this year, I mean, just, you've got the skills.
Well, thank you so much, Amelia.
Well, I was actually there the first year that you competed in Tulsa, and I absolutely just fell in love with your cake. How did you place on that one?
I placed 6th, and I won. I got gold as well, but I was in 6th place. But it was still my first competition.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. I honestly just loved your cake. The colors, the design, everything about it is just, I love your style. I think it's just gorgeous. And I don't know, I have a different style, I guess. but I wish I had, you know, I look at people's cakes all the time and think, oh, I wish I had her style. Oh my gosh, I love this. I wish I wish I had, this style. And I don't know, I kind of try to be a little bit broad and eclectic, but man, some of you guys have like the most awesome styles. Love it. So, okay, I wanted to talk to you guys really fast before we get into the video. Yesterday, I did a blog post on CakeFu that I wanted to share with you guys. I forgot to put a link up here. I'll have Bobby put up a link if he can. Please and thank you. In the chat box, he'll put up a link to show you guys the blog post that I did. It's about competing and competitions, and so I just thought I'd throw that in there because it kind of fits. So if you guys want to go check that out and read it, it's a pretty good read, I think. And share your opinions. Let us know what you guys think about it. It was a little bit of a controversy from the Cake International that's over in the UK. Something happened there that was a little bit controversial. So I thought it would be fun to write about it and get your guys' opinions. And also, I wanted to, I posted this on our CakeFu Facebook page. I don't know if you guys, if very many of you guys saw it, but we are actually going to be having a Thanksgiving-themed turkey competition. We're not going for anything ginormous and huge and extravagant. I know that you guys are busy. I know that you guys have lives and cakes to make and families and all of that. So we're not looking for anything extremely huge and extravagant. Really what we're going for is just something fun. We're going turkey themed. So give me your best turkey. It can be just a little topper. It can be an actual sculpted cake. It can be anything you want, anything you want. There's a blog post that I wrote about it also. If you check out our Facebook page, you can click on the link and go read about it, see what the competition is all about. The winner will get a free crafty class, so it might be worth, throwing together a little topper, or a little cake, even especially if you're doing it anyway. And also, I wanted to add with that, if you guys want to take some in-progress pictures or little snippets of video with the little project, if you send that to me through my email address, amelia@cakefu.com. I'll take a look at those, and who knows, I might put up a tutorial and share your work on CakeFu. I think that would be really fun if anybody wants to do that. So just to get it out there. I think it's fun to share. I think it's fun to do stuff like this. Just kind of make it fun for everyone. So, all right, enough about that. Let's get on to the video I want to show you guys, and hopefully this works out smoothly. It's always fun getting these things to work. Okay, here we go. And Vivian and I, we can talk through this. This is on a YouTube video that Vivian, you put up, and so. Vivian, tell me about this video. Tell me how, did you decide to just do this? I've seen you do videos like this before. Is this something that you like to do a lot?
Yes, I do. I just wanted, my first one for my first cake competition, I wanted to do it just to see what it looks like, how it comes together, and I've always wanted to do a time lapse because I've seen those time lapse on YouTube before, and I was like, wouldn't it be cool if I did one too? And I had such great feedback on it. So many people emailed me saying how much they loved it, and people are all about, we never expected that much, work to be put into cakes, and some of these people who've seen it even showed their customers saying that, look, this is why our cake costs this much, because a lot of effort gets put in making just one rose. And so I did it for 2011. I didn't have time to do it for the year that I won, which is really sad. But then I had time this year to do it for this cake, and it was a lot easier after doing it the first year. And so I just wanted to show the world more things that I can do.
I love this is so just genius, the time lapse on this quality of a competition piece. I mean, like you said, I've seen the time lapses before also, but I mean, to see this detailed, delicate work come together and make an actual cake, it's pretty darn spectacular. So, I'm sure that people are probably asking questions about the cutters. Can we talk about those cutters really fast, what they were?
Yes, I think most of my cutters this that I've used this year were either petals or they're from I got it from the I forgot what it is called. It starts with an L, but she sells all these tiny cutters, and I've always bought them every time I went to Oklahoma or when I went to the ISIS Commission. I will have to write it down and send it to you so you can
Okay.
tell people about them.
Okay, that'd be great. That'd be great because they are really cool cutters. I mean, to be able to do that little delicate work is really, really something. And then, so let's talk about the design a little bit. How did you come up with your design? Did you just start, throwing things together? Did you have a plan? What did you decide?
So I did this cake last minute. Harry actually messaged me asking me to do it because I was not planning on doing this competition at all this year. I didn't want to be too greedy or anything. This year I came back just to show people that I could make the same quality cake as last year. And so I winged everything. I saw a picture online that I thought was beautiful from a Sleeping Beauty ballet, and I've used that as inspiration, and I just winged everything. I just decided, okay, well, this looks good. I'm going to throw it on there. And then I think once you're in that zone, I think all I did for a whole entire month was just bake and eat and work on my cake all month long.
Wow, that's incredible. All right. Well, and this right here I thought was really cool. So but it took me a minute to figure out what you were actually putting these details on. So this is a seashell. Is that what it is?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and that's made out of gum paste, I'm guessing?
Yes. It was made out of gum paste, hardened, and then I put layers of fondant and just added details to it.
Awesome. I love how this turns out. You guys are yeah, you'll be so impressed. And this is actually a style that you tend to do quite a bit with the detail work, the scrolls and the flowers and all of that. Is this something that comes easy to you now, or was it always easy to you? Was there ever a time where you were just like, I don't know how to do this, or did it just come to you?
Actually, this style took about 4 years to develop. I don't know if you remember my first cake, the purple and silver one. You can see it coming from then to now as I keep on practicing year after year, trying to figure out how to get that particular, I think it's called a Rococo look. And or the Fabergé eggs, just all those swirl work, and I was working so hard trying to figure it out, and every year that I've worked on it, I've added something new, and so it just developed over time, and it got easier as I figured out, oh, okay, well, I'll do this way, and it looks like that.
Awesome. Yeah, the first year that I competed in Tulsa, I have to admit, I would have never thought to do this. My love letters cake that I did, I wanted to have something that looked somewhat like this, but with oak leaves. And I ended up drying my oak leaves before I put them onto the cake, and it just didn't come together as well as I wanted it to. And I still took third, or third runner-up. So I mean, I guess that's okay. But I wanted it to look like this, and so seeing you do this, I was like, oh, duh, I should have done that. So, but I love it.
It just took a lot of trial and error too. So I failed a lot of times before getting this right.
Awesome. And then for your beads, I'm sure people are going to want to know, do you have a mold for your beads?
Yes. I've only used a few molds, and it's the pearls and the gems. Those are the only two molds that I've used on this cake.
That's incredible. That's awesome. Oh, and here comes the painting. Oh my goodness, you guys are going to love this. I I've painted a piece before. It was just a little silhouette, or not a silhouette, just a head shot kind of thing. And it takes a long time, and yeah, but I love painting on fondant. I think it's so fun because, I don't know. I was going to do a video of what I had painted just like this, but I was so nervous. It was the first time I'd ever really done an actual, somebody's face painted, and I was so worried I was going to screw the thing up. I did it on a plaque. I was going to do like I made 3 different plaques in case I just messed up so bad. But the first one turned out perfectly, and I was like, okay, thank you. Yeah, but I should have done a video of it because this is really cool, and I think it's really good to show people what goes into something like this. I mean, the amount of time. I mean, how long did this take? Do you know? Just the
Um,
painting.
both of the paintings took over 14 hours in terms of first freestyling and onto the cake, and then is that you can't focus on one spot for too long, and that's why you keep on seeing me on 10 different spots all the time because the water builds up each layer dry in order to add another one.
That's really a good point right there. So and that's really true. You were breaking up just a little bit, so I'm going to repeat a little bit of what you said. But basically, what you were just saying is that you kind of have to go back and forth between different parts of the painting. Otherwise, you're going to be smearing off the paint that you just put down. So I mean, you have to just kind of come and go and do whatever wherever, and yeah. It looks haphazard a little bit, but there is a method behind what you're doing. So, and it's gorgeous. And you just keep on going, and you think that, I don't know, seeing the beginning of it, you're just like, how's this ever going to turn out? But then, the more you add, the more you do, the more, layer upon layer, it comes together and it looks so gorgeous. And I love how your painting it's I don't know. I tend to have like it has to be like every line precise and so that it looks like, I don't know, more like a portrait. But I love how yours looks
Mhm.
like an actual like oil painting kind of a thing. I love that with the strokes and everything. I think it's gorgeous. So perfect. And how many of these did you do?
Thank you.
These plaques right here.
I just did two on both sides of the cake. Yes, I did two of them.
Okay, awesome. And then someone's asking what brand of dust you use. I'm guessing that they're asking about the gold color that you put on your on the details. Is there a dust that you use, or is that an actual color?
I use a gold highlighter.
Gold highlighter. Okay, and where did you get that from?
It's a gold highlighter.
We're having a little bit of a problem um, with your video feed. Anyway, gold highlighter. Does that come? Trying to think of where you can find gold highlighter. Is that?
Um,
we'll just keep the video going, Vivian. I'm sorry that that there's a little bit of something going on.
It, it must.
Okay, let's see. I'll just try and read some of the questions that you guys are sending in right now. Are you back, Vivian? Anyway, oh,
is that better or?
Oh, that's better. That's better. Are you back?
It's better now, right now? I hope so.
Yes,
I can hear you
better now.
pretty well.
Oh, good. Okay. There is something going on with like a lag or some. I'm not sure. It freezes up every once in a while. I wonder, Vivian, if you logged out and logged back in again, if that would help. Anyway, to read some of the things you guys are asking.
If what?
If you logged out and then logged back in again, that might help get a better connection again. Okay. I'll let you guys watch this time lapse for a second while I. Okay. All right. Hopefully she'll be back. Anyway, someone asked, do you have to let each color dry before adding more color? That is something that we just mentioned. So yes, you would want to let it dry first. And also, you do need to know that when you're painting something, anytime you add more color on top of it, if it's not just a real light, quick brush stroke and move on to something else, you're going to start bleeding into or picking up the color that was already there. And so it's kind of sometimes that can be an intentional thing that you want to pick up some of the color or blend some of the color, but just know that, if it's wet, especially though, it's not, your color is not going to stay there. So you're going to have to, keep adding colors after it dries, or else just know that it's all mixing together. Okay. Let's see. Someone asked what dust do you use? She did say highlighter, gold highlighter. I believe that you can get that at several places. I believe that Albert Ooster Imports is one of those places that you can get the color from. Someone asked what type brush Vivian is using. I am not sure on that. We'll have to ask her when she gets back. Let's see. Isn't her painting more impressionist style? Yeah, I guess that's what it would be called. I just couldn't think of the word. Sometimes you just get lost for words. But yeah. Oh, someone says they get gold from Global Sugar Art. That's great. What did you mix for the paint on the pictures? I can't really answer that for Vivian. I'm not sure what she used. But me personally, I have two things that I use for when I do my paintings, and one is just the petal dusts that are diluted with either an alcohol or like a lemon extract, something like that, or you could actually use the airbrush colors, and I use those a lot. I stick with those a lot more than the dusting colors, just because I don't know, they're easy and they work really well. So the airbrush colors are really good for the painting. And one thing that I do use a lot is I will use the white airbrush color. Oh, you back? Vivian? I see your picture. I don't hear you. We'll just keep... Oh, you're back, but I still can't hear
Hello,
you.
yes.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
You're back.
Can you hear me
Yay.
now?
Yes, yes.
Is
All
it
right.
working better now?
It's working so much better. Wonderful. Okay, so we will go back and ask some other questions later, but let's jump into where we are
Okay.
right now. So this is the finished product. Um, and I just, the amount of intricate detail that goes into this is just spectacular. I'd love to see this. Were you happy with the way it turned out, Vivian? Oh, your sound's gone again.
Yes, I was
Oh.
really proud of myself. I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe I did this. And I, oh gosh, I said I was really proud of myself with the short amount of time that I got, and I was just really happy with everything.
Awesome. Okay, there is a little bit of a, I don't know why, but there's a lag between what you say and what I say. So just so everyone knows, if we give some, if there's a big pause in between, then just know that's Vivian catching up. Yeah, and here are the cakes that actually placed, and the artists who placed. Did you have to see these in person? You wanna explain this a little bit, Vivian? What's the difference between seeing the pictures and seeing them up close?
Um, you cannot see all the details on these pictures. Even the look around it and underneath and just look at the colors and pictures don't do it.
Okay, we are off of the video, and hopefully that will help to speed things up a little bit. Okay. All right. All right. Hopefully that's better. Are you there, Vivian?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I'm so sorry if my internet is being slightly slower.
That's okay. It's understandable. Things like this happen, and it's technology. Go figure. Anyway, and that's the downside to being live. Seriously, we are live. There's no redoing or anything like that. We're just winging it here a little bit right now. But that's okay, because yeah. But that video just so impressive, so impressive. And we have some questions. Let's see. Somebody was asking what brand of or what type or brand of paintbrushes you used for your painting.
Oh, I use that they have at the art stores. I don't use anything too expensive. Probably, I mostly stick with the watercolor brushes, but any brush is fine when you're painting on cake. It doesn't you don't have to, empty out your wallet for really high quality brushes. I've loved the cheap ones, and I do have some very nice paintbrushes as well, but I mostly prefer the cheaper ones just because you can use them and then toss them if you want.
Yeah, yeah. I don't go really expensive with mine either. I just make sure that they have the plastic handles so that I can wash them. That's my big thing. So anyway, they're also asking now, what did you use for the paint? What did you use for the paint on the pictures?
I just use let's see. I use Americolor the gel, the Americolor gel food coloring and just water. Nothing too special or anything, just those two.
Okay, awesome. Um, let's see. Sorry, trying to find some more questions. Let's see. Are the scroll pieces 50-50 straight gum paste? Or 50-50 or straight gum paste? What I guess they're asking what did you use?
Really depends. Like for thicker sections where I needed support, I would add probably 75% gum paste to 25% fondant. But the really thin pieces where I needed to curve a little bit would probably be 50-50. Where I needed to send it, but then stay at that particular position.
Okay. I think that was answered pretty well. It breaks out every once in a while, but I think that was answered pretty well. But yeah, so our next question is the swags, the start of the swags that you did. What did you use for those swags, and how did you get them to stay?
Wires in them, and I put it into the template, not the template, but the little flat cake parts that I had. I had wires into it, and then I added these fondant pieces to make the middle part thicker and tapered to the sides, and I make sure that dries completely before I added the final details onto it.
Awesome. Okay. Let's see. Here's a question. Do you sketch your cakes ahead of time, or do you just kind of go?
I just kind of well, with this cake, I just went for it. I just picked out a bunch of random pieces of styrofoam dummies and I just put it together. My previous years, I've had a plan, but usually when you're working on it, something always comes up and I just stray away from my original plan.
All right. And people are asking, what did you use to attach the scrolls?
I just use what is it? I use Tylose and hot water, and I just mix it together, and I put it on. And if that doesn't work, sometimes I use clay, and I let it sit out for a couple days before it comes very tacky. And then I would put it on, and I would let it dry. And if not that, then it did not work. I use a sugar glue. I use hot isomalt to pour it on, and I stuck it on.
Smart. Okay, so first you'll use the Tylose and water. If not, then you use a gum glue with a diluted, gum and water, gum paste and water. And if that doesn't work, then you use the isomalt.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, and let's see. How did you make the filigree? I know that it showed the process of the filigree that you did, but do you want to explain, what the material was and what the shape was that you put it on and that kind of a thing?
The filigree, as in like oh gosh, there's a lot. Like, sorry. Can you repeat the question again?
Yeah,
how did I make
the little filigree that you had that was sticking out, the little half ball shaped filigree that you did.
Oh, okay. So I just used I cut a styrofoam ball in half, and then I with shortening, and then I rolled out really thin pieces of gum paste, and I just little by little added of gum paste, and I attached it, let it dry, attached another piece and let it dry, and I waited probably 2 or 3 days before I completely took it off of the styrofoam ball, and then I attached it to the cake.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, here's a really good question, one I was actually going to ask next, so I'm glad somebody was thinking this way. What are the judges specifically looking for in a competition cake? Is there anything that you know of that they're, that they want to see? Because I know that you get this, obviously, to be able to take grand.
The judges want to see something new. My biggest lesson this year was that they don't want to see something that's been done before. They want someone who's innovative, someone who's done something just out of the box. And I think that's the main thing with these competitions. If you look at I've done my research year after year for this cake competition, and none of the cakes look anything alike from each other. Each one had its specific, like, either someone had really great floral work, or then you have someone like me who has this type of style, then you have other people who does, just everyone had a different style, and each year is just a new thing that came along, and I think that's what sets them apart away from everyone else, because I think for these competitions, that's what you need to do to mostly stand out.
I've heard a lot of people say something to the effect of, "Oh, I can't compete in a competition like that because I don't do string work." And so what would you have to say to people like that think that it's all about the string work?
Actually, I don't know how to drink work either. I think I'm part of the generation of cake decorators that just don't know how to do the old school buttercream piping, string work and stuff. I like idolize people who've done it, like Dawn, and she does amazing string work, but it's just, that's not my forte, and I think you really do need specific set of skills in order to do these cake competitions. If you have a very creative mind and a very open mind, and then I think these cake competitions are, perfect for you. It's not set in stone anywhere that, oh, well, you need to have, piping skills, you need to know how to do this. I think for this competition, there's so many different levels that you can compete at, and every year that I've gone, it was just to compete against myself and to be better at it, and I think that's what these competitions are for, is for you to grow as a person.
Awesome. Okay, so another question is, how does a person gauge whether they should be competing in a competition like this or whether they should go for something a little bit lower scale? Because, your first year competing, I'm sure you were intimidated, and I know I was. I know I was very intimidated. So how do you know if you're on that level to be able to compete? I would hate to take in a cake, and I know that a lot of people are this way, that they're afraid to take in a cake because they're worried that it's going to be so much or so far below everybody else that they're just going to, have a cake that sticks out like a, sore thumb kind of a thing. So what would you say to people? What kind of a level, what kind of skill set do you think that they should have before they do a competition like this?
Honestly, it just really depends on, I think, let's see, for my first competition, I really thought about putting myself into some immediate thing, but then since I was driving, I was like, oh, might as well just do the main thing. And for others, I think you really need someone else's opinion that's unbiased, someone who's not like part of your family or close friends group, probably someone, either a chef or someone online that will just tell you straight up what level or skill level you're at. And there's two sides to it. It's the Grand National side, and then there's the divisional side. And if they compete in the divisional side, usually if the judges feel that competitor cake is above the ones in that level, they usually put their cakes in a higher grading level. And I think it's just all that someone needs to get in order to know.
Awesome. Okay, so and then another question is, I know that a lot of cake decorators have one really good, one skill that they're just really, really good at, and is that something that they should stick with that skill and do that, or should they branch out and try to do something new in a cake competition cake? Or, because I know that some people I know that judges are looking for, multiple techniques. What would you tell to somebody who wants to do something that's just so good at one thing? Would you tell them to add in something that they know that they're not quite as good at, or would you say to just stick with that one thing?
It is something that the judges have never seen, and I would say go for it. If it's something that they're really good at, but it's just seen on every single cake, then I would say try something new. Try to branch out and set yourself apart from each other. I don't think judges want to look at 20 cakes that look exactly the same. And it's like the themes every year. I think once they pick out a theme, like ballet last year, automatically people's mind goes to pink, nutcracker, and swan lake. And judges don't want to see 20 cakes that look the same. So I would say try to branch out if you can. And to add another element, then I guess develop your one set of skill level to the point where it sets you apart from the other people who has the same skill level.
Okay, thank you. All right, and then someone is asking about traveling with these cakes. That is a big, big deal, especially with a competition like this. The judges are, they look at every little tiny thing, and if you have breaks, if you have things missing, if something got messed up in the drive, you're not going to win. And so with all these fragile details that you have on this cake, how do you pack and how do you travel, and how much do you actually do ahead of time? How much do you actually do when you get to Tulsa or wherever your competition is going to be?
So, competition 3 years, and I've traveled. Probably the first year I've done it, I drove San Jose, California, and the competitions in Tulsa, Oklahoma. My first year, I drove there, and I had to make sure we got a van. And prior to starting on the cake, I had to make sure that, the way my cake was going to be, it was going to be solid in the drive. And so the driving there wasn't such a bad idea. It was just very long. So the second and third year, I decided to fly there, and I bought an extra seat on and of course, that's why my past 2 cakes along were a lot smaller than most cakes, was because I packed them in smaller containers too. And my second year, I bought another seat for my cake, and I would place it on there, and I would have straps, and I would have this really cute little dolly that I took around the airport with it, and I would just make sure that none of the sides would hit the box itself. And then this was the hardest year because I had a lot of complication with the airlines, and I think it's a lot of pre-planning. They had to stuff my cake in the overhead bin, and I was freaking out like crazy. Make sure that you buy and that you buy a lot of cushion. I tend to use, you know, the makeup sponges for the size of the cake. I would put it so in I would do test runs and pretend that I'm shaking the cake as if it's on an airplane, just to make sure that nothing gets hit. So, and I would do as I can beforehand, and I would fly probably 2 or 3 days ahead of time, and then I would stay in my hotel for the next 3 days until the competition and work on any broken pieces, add on anything that I couldn't add on prior to flying. So it really um, what you feel could be done ahead of time at the competition.
All right. Okay, so let's see. Someone is asking about what is the best resource that you refer to for making the internal structure for your cakes? I'm not sure exactly what the question is there, but do you have any information on the internal structure for your cakes? Uh-oh, I think we might have lost Vivian again.
I
Oh, there you
don't
go.
actually. I just make it up as I go along, I guess. I said there's that I love for any of my cakes. Um, I just pick out any shapes I feel like, and I would just test it out and see if it works, and if it doesn't, I try something new. So I have no guidelines whatsoever. It's just a lot of trial and error.
Okay. Um, let's see. Someone said that would be a great class, how to pack and travel on an airplane with your cake. Awesome. Let's see. I think we're back to having a lag again. Um, let's see. I'm not seeing any questions at the moment. Someone asked, let's see. Oh, it wasn't a question, it was more of a comment. She said, I love the way in your paintings the figures seem to melt into the cake, just beautiful. So that's a fun compliment. All right.
Well, thank you so much.
Awesome. Okay, well, I think that, is there any information that you want to share that you you just think, oh my goodness, these guys need to know this?
For any cake competition, I think the main one is I think I spend more time doing my research on about new things and innovative things that I probably spend a whole year researching compared to my 300 hours on work on the cake. I probably stalked everyone on Facebook that had any kind of cake pictures. I've I've looked up. I've went online. I've looked through cakes that you can on Pinterest. I think the more things you look out there, whether you're going to a museum or looking at the architecture of buildings, the more your mind just works and just automatically puts itself together. And when I make these cakes, I just go, you know, like I just have a computer just has tons of pictures that I thought were gorgeous or cakes that I take inspiration. I think that's what people need to do is just see anything that just strikes you as really pretty and just figure out how you can do it into cake. And I think I've done so much research that it's just mind blowing, and I think it really helps out a lot any of these cake competitions at a high level. So that's probably my advice to everyone.
Okay, awesome. All right, let's see. We have another question from somebody. This is one that was kind of a fun question to ask, and I know that people who haven't done a lot of cakes and have problems every once in a while, this is a question they like to hear from people who are as experienced as you. Someone wants to know, have you had any cake disasters?
Oh, yeah. So many cake disasters that I think I'm just so OCD about everything. Like, my when I first drove to the first turn out of my block, I was able to fix it when I got to Oklahoma. My second year, I want to say you have to make sure that you I would say go to your airport where you're flying to and make sure that the boxes actually fit into the TSA scanners. Because one of my cakes last 2 years ago in 2012, I had my main cake and a side competition cake. That cake tumbled in the TSA scanners and shattered every single flour that I made for it, and just really crazy. This I know. This last cake, I didn't have anything because I was just so paranoid, and I just felt like I was going crazy with like buying straps for it to make sure it's like okay, and just yeah. So I've had my fair share of cake disasters, but I mean I think for the amount of spray onto my luggage, probably 99% of it is cake material to fix any kind of damages, and 1% of it was closed. So for everything, and I think that's what helps anyone in the long run to is just be, like accept the worst, hope for the best. So.
That is so true. That is so true. And having things on hand to try and fix whatever you can, and like you said, expect the worst, hope for the best. Expect that something's going to happen. Have some extra pieces. Have some tools there with you to try and fix whatever might have gone wrong. We're going to ask one more question and then we'll be done. Someone asks, what gets you in the zone to just go and create, as you described, you're winging it? Do you do music? Do you think of art pieces? Something in your head? What other people's cakes? They asked. What is it that inspires you to just go and do?
Let's see. It just depends on, I guess, when I'm like for the in 2012 when I did the one that I won, and I'm more relaxed, I would watch Netflix the whole entire time. For this past one where I was just winging it, I actually had a lot of, I didn't know I get anxiety attacks and stuff, but I had really bad stress and anxiety with this cake. So with this cake, I actually had a friend with me just, doing the recording and actually talking with me, and we were just listening to music that was not as soothing as like the piano ones, but just a lot of music the whole entire time, keep me in the zone. and my friend would just be there just being like, oh my god, that is so cute, you're doing such a good job. I think you need to have someone to motivate you and just support you, so that you can just keep on going. And I think without my, my friend, then I would have just been like, I give up. So I think that's what kept me going for this cake competition. And on top of that, it was just the fact that the knowledge that, I didn't want to come back this year with, people. People were looking forward to seeing me this year and what I would bring out, and I didn't want to disappoint them. So constantly, I was just like myself, and I think I accomplished that, and I topped myself, and I'm pretty proud of myself again. But it's just the knowledge that I had to put out a piece that would equal the name that I have. So
Yes.
That's what kept me going.
That's a lot of pressure. It really is. It's just to know that you've done that well, and people expect that level from you. It really does. It really does push you to do as good of work as you did before or better. So yeah, I agree with you. I know that I said this was going to be the last question, but we have another one that I think is a really good one. It needs to be asked. So someone says, do you think that the more detail, the better on the competition cake, or can that be overdone?
Ooh.
Did we lose you? Do you want me to repeat the question?
Yeah, lost me. I did not hear it anyway.
Okay, that's okay. The question is, do you think that the more detail, the better on the competition cake, or can it be overdone?
I think if you can, do it with, it really too much, but I think if you just have to be very classy with it and know where you can add a lot of details and where you should be really simple about it. It's really hard. That's a really hard question because I tend to overly put details. I feel like it needs to look that ornate, and I want people to look at my piece as if it's at a museum, or just something that comes out from the Palace of Versailles or something like that. But there are cakes out there that are simple and they're just equally as gorgeous. So I would say it just really depends on what you can put out there that would look nice. Overly to the top, it can be really simple and still have some technique of a master too.
Yeah.
I don't know if that helps.
I think that's a really good answer. And just to add to that, I think that if you have a cake design that is you can have a cake design that looks really simple but can be so technically difficult, and that's a hard thing to do. It really is. But if you can stand back and think about this cake as the actual structure, you want it to be able to flow. You want it to be able to have all the elements that you want on it, but you don't want to have ooh, look, I can do piping and I'll do that here, and oh, look, I can do fondant scrolls and things like that. I'll do that here. And oh, cool, let's do some sculpting over here. So I mean, it needs to all be able to blend together. And if you can make it come together and have all the different parts, all the different techniques working together instead of just oh, look what I can do. That's, I think, where it makes all the difference. Because if you can, if you're doing a cake just to show technique, you're not going to win in the skill or in the side of overall look, because that is judged. You have to have a good overall look. And then but then again, you don't want an empty cake because you need something. I mean, I don't know. The spots on it should be empty enough that the whole thing's not like coated and everything. But and you explained it really well.
Another good example is the grand prize winner this year, Jennifer. When you look at her cake, it's actually, when you look at it from just really quick, you can just be like, oh, you know, it looks use a mat to create the indentation in the fondant, but she actually rolled out fondant. She actually piped out piping gel, let it dry, and airbrushed it over so it looks like it has texture. And even the elephants look like they were molded, but she actually hand sculpted them. And there's a bunch of her work that you would think, oh, for it, but she actually hand piped every single part of it. And I think if you look at pictures online on her cake, you just be amazed by, the more you look at it, the more you realize that a lot of these pieces, she did not use any kind of molds. It was mostly hand done, but then her cake was very, you know, from the look at it, it's gorgeous and simple, but it involved so much technique and skills, and that's what made her win this year.
Yeah, you know, that's a big thing that I think needs to be touched on, is stay away from the molds. Stay away from the molds. Even if it's a mold that you have made yourself, that's great. But, you know, if you do a mold here and there, fine. But when your cake is completely decorated with molds, even if they're handmade molds, it's still not going to carry the same weight as hand sculpting and hand piping and you know, just doing things by hand. You know, the judges aren't as impressed with the mold. So just to let it out there.
I mean, it's so great for your clients, for wedding cakes. I think for real life, like weddings, those things are perfect because it's like, it's so easy to do, and on top of that, you put it on a cake and it's done. You know, like something that fast and that you can do with that kind of high class. That's perfect for regular wedding cakes. But for these kind of cake competitions where skill and technique is the main reason why you would or would not win, it just plays such a huge part.
Awesome. Cool. Okay. Well, I have to cut it off. I know we could sit here and talk about competitions forever. I love to talk about competitions. But anyway, just to end things, I want to remind you guys to go check out that blog post that I did, and also check out that competition that we're going to be doing with the little turkey thing. You can post the pictures to my Facebook page, or the CakeFu Facebook page, or you can email them to me at amelia@cakefu.com. And so you can send them either way you want, and we'll take the entries that way. Just a turkey. That's all. That's it. And I'm just looking for something fun, something unique, something, you know, just something fun. So anyway, the winner will, like I said, will get a free Craftsy class from us, and I think that'll be really fun. So take a you know, a couple hours out of your day here and there and put together something for us. I think that would just be fun. And so, yeah, thank you so much, Vivian, for coming on. Thank you for sharing that video. If anybody's interested in watching the video, you can actually watch it again. You can watch it through the replay of the CakeFu replay, or you can go onto, what's your YouTube page, Vivian?
I don't know the exact code, but I know that I came into the search bar, just Vivian Pham, you would see both of my cake videos as one of the top ones.
Awesome. I should have had that ready, and I'm sorry. But yeah, if you go to YouTube, do a Google search for Vivian Pham, her videos will show up, and she has several like this that are really great. So go check those out and see the amazing work that she does, and get inspired. These are, I mean, competitions are fun. Doing something, you know, even if it's just for you, just to practice, it's really great. So again, thank you, Vivian. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and we will see you guys all next time. Bye.